This is everything that you need to know about Spectral Rover and his perfect build. First, in order to unlock his Spectrofrazzle application, you have to start a 2.0 quest and talk with the shopkeeper here. So what is Spectrofrazzle? Spectrofrazzle is a stackable debuff, which you can see on them by the symbol or by the color. They get this golden mark on them, which is a pretty cool detail that does spectral damage to the enemies over time. You lose 1 stack of Spectrofrazzle every time an enemy takes damage from it. The more stacks an enemy has, the more damage the Spectrofrazzle will do. You can have up to 10 Spectrofrazzle stacks on an enemy, so try to maintain 10 stacks for the max damage. So how do you increase Spectrofrazzle damage? The damage from Spectrofrazzle doesn't depend on your crits, attack or other stats. It's influenced by your character's level, the enemy's defense, their effect res, and the number of Spectrofrazzle stacks they have on them. So make sure to level 90 your main Spectrofrazzle applier, and if you have multiple characters in your team that apply Spectrofrazzle, then the damage will depend on the character with the highest level on your team. Next, let's get to his kit. So with his basic attacks, he has the normal 4-hit combo that deals spectral damage. His heavy attack consumes stamina and does spectral damage. So yeah, so far the usual, but this is the important part. He has 2 other heavy attacks which you need to use, and the first heavy attack is called Resonance. So the first one is where you press the basic attack button after basic attack 3, or you can do a heavy attack and then press the basic attack button. So this is really important because of his inherent skill 2, which gives him 15% attack after he uses heavy attack. So yeah, make sure to use this after his intro. And the second heavy attack is what you will mostly be using. It's called heavy attack after tune. So after you use the heavy attack Resonance or a dodge counter, press the basic attack button. This is really important since it gives him half of his 4-day back. So basically heavy attack and then 2 basic attacks, or a dodge counter and then 2 basic attacks, or you can just do basic attack 3, heavy attack and then basic attack. So when it comes to his 4-day, it's divided into 2, and his 4-day stacks are called Diminutive Sound, and Rover can hold up to 100 of them. You need at least half for his main rotation. So how do you get 4-day stacks? You can get them from his dodge counter, his basic attack, his intro, his heavy attack after tune. What are the 4-day stacks used for? Well, you use them to enhance his skill. So first we have his normal skill that does some spectral damage, but when you have more than 50 4-day stacks, then his skill button will get enhanced. Most of his damage comes from here. You can press the skill button, this does more damage, applies 2 stacks of Spectrofrazzle to a hit enemy, and Shimmer, which prevents Spectrofrazzle stacks from disappearing for 9 seconds. Otherwise you lose them very fast. This is what makes him the best Spectrofrazzle sub DPS, and you really need the 10 stacks for Phoebe. Oh, and this damage is considered skill damage, and also refreshes each time you do it. You can also press the basic attack button right after the skill, and you'll do a new attack called Resonating Echoes, which does a lot of damage. Thanks to his inherent skill 1, 60% more damage. Also keep in mind that when her normal skill is on cooldown, then her enhanced skill will be on cooldown too. They're tied together, so yeah, don't spam it. And thanks to his S1, he gets 15% crit rate after he uses skill, but that's not all. We also have his S6, 10% Spectral Shred after the skill. So again, his 4 is really important. With his ultimate, he does spectral damage and applies 6 stacks of Spectrofrazzle to the enemy. With his intro, he attacks the enemy, does spectral damage, fills half of his 4-day, so yeah, really good. His outro slows down the enemy for 3 seconds in a small area. So when it comes to his skill priority, you want his ultimates, his 4-day, his basic attacks, his skill, and then lastly we have his intro. You can leave this at 5 if you want. It's gonna be expensive because of the weekly boss materials. When it comes to weapons, Chang'Li's sword is the best sword in the game. High attack, 48% crit damage, will make building him a lot easier, 12% attack, and up to 56% skill damage, so yeah, really good. And then we have the Emerald of Genesis. It's only 7% worse than Chang'Li's weapon, so yeah, high attack, 24% crit rate. This will make building him a lot easier. Free 12% attack, free ER even though he doesn't need it. But yeah, this sword is a must have since every sword user can use this, but yeah, it's basically free. Just get it, man. Next you have Camelia's weapon. It works if you don't have anything else, and if you don't have that, then I would recommend you the Commando at R5. This is really good if you use his intro skill. And then we have the Endless Collapse. The free Camellia weapon is really bad for him. It takes forever to get a max stack, and Rover can't even use a max stack since he has a 6-second downtime where you have to switch to another character, so yeah, not good. Lunar Cutter is bad for a main DPS, but it works for a sub DPS, but yeah, it's not ideal. Lumen Gloss is okay if you can get the R5, but yeah, I wouldn't get this. The new craftable sword works too, but is it worth the resources? I would recommend you to just get the standard 5-star sword and yeah, use that and you should be fine. So when it comes to echoes, he has 3 playstyles: main DPS, top DPS and healer. So first we have main DPS, and the best set for that is Eternal Radiance. I mean 10% spectral damage bonus, 20 crit rate, another 15% spectral damage bonus if you're attacking an enemy with Spectral Frazzle. So yeah, really good. You can't beat this. As for the other option, you have the Celestial Light. So yeah, spectral damage bonus, more spectral damage bonus, 40%. But come on bro. He has Spectral Frazzle in his kit, so yeah, Eternal Radiance is better. And you can also give this set to a new Spectral Frazzle character who'll need this. Or you can give this to Phoebe later on if you get her. But I wouldn't recommend playing him as a main DPS. Sub DPS and healer is a lot better. So for a sub DPS we have the Moonlit Cloud set. Come on guys, the only option. This is especially good with Phoebe, and you probably already have a full set for him ready. So your energy regen doesn't need that, but it's fine. Increases the attack of the incoming character by 22.5%, really good. And then we have the Heron, so yeah, even more damage. But you can also run him as a healer with the Rejuvenating Glow set, thanks to his S4, which heals the entire team. So your healing bonus, so even more heals. And 15% attack to all of the party members. Alright, when it comes to the forecasts, for the Eternal Radiance, I recommend the Nightmare Moaning Eggs. 12% spectral damage bonus, come on, really good. As for the Moonlit Cloud set, the Heron is the best, no questions asked, 12% increased damage. As for the Rejuvenating Glow, you have 2 options, they both work, but Fallacy is better, the buff lasts longer, and more team damage. 10% attack for the whole team, really good. As for the main stats, you want crit damage or crit rate on the forecast, double spectral, but if you're using him as a healer, then his healing scales with attack. So yeah, the more attack, the more healing you'll get. As for the one cost, attack, again, healing scales with attack. As for the substats, you want crit, so crit damage, crit rate, attack. Ultimate and skill damage are good too. He doesn't need ER thanks to his S3. When it comes to recommended stats, you want 1900 attack, 65 crit rate. This is before his S1 and the Eternal Radiance buff. 260 crit damage, and yeah, 0 ER after S3. So yeah, really easy to build. When it comes to sequences, so you get S1 after the main story quest, Ominous Star. You get the second one from Clashing Blades main story quest. As for the third one, you get it from the guidebook, phase 6. As for the fourth one, you get it from the Casca delivery, level 5. You get the fifth and the sixth one from the Windchimer delivery. I have a full guide on this in case you guys want to watch it. So yeah, S1 plus 15 crit rate after skill, S2 20% spectral damage bonus, S3 20% energy regen. This is all he needs. S4 heals your team after you use his ultimate. This scales with attack and he can be played as a healer now. S5 plus 40% ultimate damage bonus. S6, this skill reduces the enemy's spectral rest by 10% for 20 seconds. Yep, other spectral DPS can use this too to do more damage. So yeah, really good sequences. And they're free, so yeah, just get them. So when it comes to teams, first we have the main DPS. I don't recommend this. Havoc Rover is better as a main DPS. So yeah, we have Rover and Sunhwa. Lancelot is a flex healer. So yeah, any healer works. And this whole team is free to play. You got all of these characters for free. But Sunhwa would be more useful in our team. As for a sub DPS, so the Moonlit Cloud set, we have Rover, Phoebe, and yeah, a healer. Any works, like Marina or a Showkeeper. As for the last one, we have Rover on the Rejuvenating Glow set. So yeah, healer, main DPS Phoebe. As for the last one, you can put Sunhwa here, but you're probably using her in another team. So you can do Morphe or quick swap with Changli. So when it comes to rotations, you first start with a heavy attack and then 2 basic attacks, and then use the enhanced skill, swap off for 6 seconds until the skill cooldown is over. And don't worry, the 2 Spectral Frazzle stacks will stay. So now we need 6 from his ultimate and 2 from another Fourier skill. So yeah, after 6 seconds, switch back, intro, ultimate, enhanced skill, 2 basic attacks, and then outro. And yeah, that's it. Then Spectral Frazzle stacks for 9 seconds. And if you don't get the intro, then yeah, you can start with heavy attack and 2 basic attacks, and then ultimate, enhanced skill, basic attack, and then outro. When it comes to the echoes, you want to use Jue at the start, Nightmare Eggs at the end, where you get 10 Spectral Frazzle stacks, since that way it will do more damage. As for the Heron, Fallacy, and Bellborn, you want to use them right before the outro, to the end. So is he worth building? Yes, he is. He is Phoebe's best teammate, and if he ever gets replaced, then you can always give his set to somebody else, like the future Spectral Frazzle DPS. His Moonlit pieces can be used by everyone, same as his Rejuvenating Glow pieces. As for the levels, he will have every single element in the future, so you can't go wrong by investing into him. If this video helped you, then you can help me by liking and subscribing. And yeah, have an amazing rest of your day or night. Thank you so much for watching.